Okay, we just took out Zoe Washington. Now we're looking for her sister Sophia, who is upstairs. So she actually does come down here. Um. Oh, of course. This guard's like, hey, there's a there's a spot where a guard's supposed to stand and nobody's there. I should stand there. And I'm like, I guess since he doesn't suspect me, that's fine. I wonder what happens if I put on a different disguise though. I don't know. So is she gonna come down and like look over her sister's body from the balcony? Because that will be hilarious if that's what she does. Hey man. Oh wait, did I save? I did save. Yes. I'm about to say actually, I can't subdue this guy from here. Okay, this is actually the perfect opportunity to take her out. Hold on, hold on. Okay, let's load. Let's get some more time. If I can take out these guards, these potential witnesses, I might be able to take her out really, really fast. And then all I've got to worry about is whatever I'm supposed to do with the constant. Maybe I just need to keep him alive and escape. I don't know. Okay. So these guys, so that guy's like, oh man. Oh, that dude left his post. I wonder where he is. It's okay if I hold a wrench, right? I mean, I am a custodian. Sometimes we need wrenches. Clonk. Okay, so I don't have any more space for hiding bodies in a very secure way, but as long as I keep him back here, it might be fine. And then similarly, okay, she's coming downstairs. This might not work. I might not have time to get both of them out of here. I was just thinking, wait, body found. What? Oh, they saw me doing that. Okay, okay, so that's not an option. I think the first guy I took out is necessary to take out. Second guy, that was a luxury, and it looks like it's a bad idea. So we're not going to do that. All right, we'll do this again. We'll just take out the guard who would witness whatever I do. The thing is, she's got a bodyguard right with her. This might not work. This might be just a non-starter. But I want to at least give it a try, because I know she stands out by that balcony. Whatever. Okay. Hey man, come here. I've just got a wrench. Don't worry about it. Clonk. Okay, so she is coming down the stairs. So I don't know where she stands, where her guard stands, what anybody does. If the guard's far enough away from her, I might be able to clonk him and shove her before anyone's the wiser. But I'm really not sure if that's a thing. So let's see how they configure themselves here. Okay, he moves back there. Okay, this doesn't seem like it's a very good idea. But that clonk also made a lot of noise. I wonder if I subdue him instead. Is there a way that I can get behind him and subdue him silently? See, this is kind of like, this game has just got this, the AI has got it's got rules to it, right? And because it, they don't like script this stuff to happen a certain way and script certain people to always notice when you do something to other people. It's just rules. And you feel like there's always got to be a crack you can fit in between these rules to make something happen. So, okay, so we're still going to clonk this guy. Clonk is the official jargon, by the way, that Hitman use for hitting people with wrenches. It's clonk. I love that animation. Do you see that? He didn't just turn around and then use the same throw animation you always use. There we go. He actually had an animation for throwing something behind his back. So I think it might have actually been the wrench clattering on the floor that made a lot of noise. It could be that I could still do a fast takedown of the guy with the wrench in melee, and it wouldn't attract attention. I'm not very sure about that, though. So I think I'm going to go tried and true and try doing a sort of strangulation takedown. And if that doesn't work, then maybe I'll try some bullets.
Both targets down.
Okay, so he's that close to her. She always is going to notice. Other options. So that guy, he turns around for a second to get to a new position. There might be a period where I could like shove her off the balcony without him seeing me do it. That might still get me caught the same way that hitting that winch got me caught. Not sure about that. But hello. Oh, let's look at that animation again. All right. Drag this guy over here. Yep, it's full. I'm really going to have to find a place to keep these bodies. All right. So she's coming down the stairs. There's a moment where that guy turns around. I don't think it's likely that I'll be able to get the shove in while that guy's turned around. That just doesn't seem like a thing. You know what? That seems so unlikely. I'm not going to try it. Maybe I'll try... If I'm not trying to strangle him down, if I'm just clonking him in melee, maybe I can get to her fast enough. Where's the push?
Both targets down. Impressive work, 47. And now to confront the constant. Mr. Gray, what's your status?
I'm at the helicopter, but the place is crawling with security. 47, you better bring the Constant to the harbor where it's less crowded. You can hijack one of the Archean boats.
Question is how? He's not likely to come quietly. Unless you get your hands on a kill switch.
Yes, that might just work. Search one of the twins, 47.
What? Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to save the game right here. I've got all these dead bodies waiting in this corner. Somebody's going to find them. But whatever. Okay, and so then I need to not kill the Constant, but I have an optional goal to help Lucas Gray extract the constant, which means I need to find a kill switch. Is it for the tracking device? I'm actually not sure. Oh, he's like, what is this?
I bet Gary lost this.
It's actually, oh, there's something right there. Right where she fell. All right, let's see. Penthouse keycard and kill switch detonator.
No trigger. Must be a kill switch.
Armed with that, I bet you could make the constant come quietly. Good thinking, 47.
Okay, so it's not a tracker he put in his head. It's a... Okay, gotcha. It's a kill switch. It's a brain bomb. So... Now that this is cleaned up even more, I'm going to go save it again. And so rather than treating this as like a separate kill, I'm just going to treat this as my extraction. This is how I get out. Let's not have the kill switch just ready to go, though. I don't want to accidentally hit a button that kills my target. So I wonder if the story of the game... Oh, this is not the way down. I wonder if the story of the game changes depending on whether I help with this? Maybe Gray gets him if I don't? I don't know. It's interesting.
The Washingtons are dead. I have the kill switch.
What did you say? How could you know about that?
You will head towards the harbor. No sudden moves, no signs or warnings. I will trigger the device if I need to.
I know you. The boy in the picture. You have his eyes. You're Burnwood's assassin.
Move.
Okay. So I follow him. Hopefully, nobody is going to have a problem with me.
Something didn't sit right with my mentor's betrayal.
Here, I'm going to turn up the volume so we can hear him talk.
Take it to get to me.
Not just that. He had it coming.
Interesting. It was my impression that you were cured of such sentiment. The good doctor built his serum specifically to target the seats of your emotions. Has Miss Burnwood's sense of justice rubbed off on you? I wonder.
Just keep walking.
Get away with this, buddy. Stay here. Hey, over here.
Okay, so that's not going to work. Unless, so whatever I'm wearing, it has to be something that's not going to get me caught along this entire route. I'm guessing maybe the members only jacket. I need to put on the members only jacket. Okay, so this is my last save. We'll do this again. This time I'll be wearing a member's outfit, and hopefully that is going to be enough to get me through. Squishy Soft is like, what about the 3 guard jackets? Well, that's the thing. I have to walk by so many guards. Guards are often good at recognizing each other. And so I think that the member jacket might actually be the better choice. We'll try it. I'll definitely go guard jacket if this doesn't work.
What? Oh, crap. Are you okay? You don't look so good to me.
Who did this? Wouldn't be you,
Okay,
would it?
that didn't go well. Okay, so those bodies are going to get found? Wait, they didn't get found last time. Is it because I distracted that dude? Yeah, last time those bodies did not get found. Let's see if I can just get out of here a little bit faster, and maybe if he's not looking at me, maybe he won't see those bodies. 'Cause it's weird that he saw them this time and he didn't see them last time. But it could be that something about his perception changes when he's investigating me specifically. So, disguise as an ARC member, get out of that zone. Okay, he has found the body.
Oh, crap. Oh, hey, oh, God.
The council meeting.
why he did. Actually, you know what? Never mind. Wait, hold on. That guy needs a clunking, is what I'm thinking. If he's the only one who walks by there and is likely to see those people, I could probably save myself some heat by also clunking him and also putting him over there. Oh, okay. So because I've got the volume up, the volume is overshadowing me. Sorry about that. That's easy to mess up. I wanted to leave the volume high so we could hear the dialogue between me and the dude, but I can do that later. So let's wait, no, I don't need disguise. I don't remember yet. Let's grab the wrench. Okay. Okay, that didn't work. Again, it's the falling wrench. It's the fact that the wrench hits the ground that sets that guy off. So, whatever. I don't know what is up with my PS4. It is just convinced that it just keeps losing internet connection. And I think it's wrong. Okay, so I have to get that guy pretty quick because he sees those bodies fast. Why didn't he on the first run? That's the weird part. Unless he did and I just didn't notice. Rahul says, maybe I have to stand there to block the bodies. I wonder, can I block things with my body? I assumed not, but who knows? Who knows how things work? It would be complicated, I think, to have characters' capsules block other characters' vision, but who knows? Okay. Okay, come on. All right, so he's coming up the stairs. Okay, good timing. So I think if he's the only one who regularly walks through this area, then there might not even be anyone who gets close enough to see his body here. So I don't think I can disguise myself. Can I disguise myself as Blake Nathaniel? You know what? I'm going to try disguising myself as Blake Nathaniel. What is this? I got an art key card. I got his phone. So, okay, this seems like a useful dude. Like, I should definitely, in the future, see if I can follow him and get this outfit later for a future playthrough. But now we're going to resave with this. I don't know if this outfit is going to get me through all the same places, but I would love to. I would love that to work. Smug Rainbow Pony says, this body block idea reminded me of a video of somebody being stuck behind a door in Hitman 2 and still finishing the mission by luring literally everyone into the room somehow and killing them one by one. The room was full of bodies by the end. Yeah, this is, that's a thing I've done before too. Okay, so it looks like... It's so funny because I did both kills in the same little narrow area. Like, I don't know. Where is he? He's right there? Okay. Like, there's so much of this level I've not even explored. Like, who knows what else could be here?
The Washingtons are dead. I have the kill switch.
Okay, so as requested, I'm going to see if I can mess with the music volume. Take down the music volume. Maybe to like 6. And then turn up the dialogue.
You know about that?
You will head towards the harbor. No sudden moves, no signs or warnings. I will trigger the device if I need to.
I know you. The boy in the picture. You have his eyes. You're Burnwood's assassin.
Move.
You gotta say, my ability to control the camera during dialogue and make it do things I want is much better in Hitman than it is in Vampire, which I just recently played, where it was really hard often. Like, they actually had an explicit dialogue camera, but it was often really hard to find a good position for it. Okay, so I'm going to posit that this character can get everywhere I need to go. I'm not going to save over my old save, though. Just in case I have to back up and try a different outfit. Okay, no one here can recognize me.
I
You're
take
supposed
it.
to feel something.
I had a
the fact
notion
is-
something didn't sit right with my mentor's betrayal. You murdered him, I take it, to get to me.
Not just that. He had it coming.
Interesting. It was my impression that you were cured of such sentiment. The good doctor built his serum specifically to target the seeds of your emotions. Has Miss Burnwood's sense of justice rubbed off on you? I wonder.
Just keep walking.
All right, so people working in here didn't recognize me. These folks don't look like they're going to recognize me. Yeah, it looks like this guy pretty much has the run of the place. That's really useful information for the future.
I mean, show a little respect, right?
For what it's worth,
Sir, hope you're well.
Jada's always found Ortmeyer's project distasteful, not to mention inefficient. But alas, sometimes you have to play the hand you're dealt.
Oh, I know.
She almost didn't come because they asked me to cut down her entourage to 15 people.
Yeah. It's too bad that these rich inbreeds will survive in some Arctic luxury hideout while the rest of the world...
I like that the guards are skeptical of this whole project. Okay, so if I wanted to escape some other way and not do this part, I apparently am allowed to do that? I wonder... I mean, the story is linear of this game. It doesn't have branches.
This is not an ICA-sanctioned operation. What exactly does Miss Burnwood plan to achieve by targeting her clients? Violating her own code?
She's doing it for us.
Us? Oh, I see. The penny drops. How does a man leave no trace? By not existing in the first place. Lucas Gray. Or was it Subject 6? He died when the Institute went up in flames, but no body was ever produced. And unlike you, his rage never faded. So, now you want the partners, the men behind the curtain who've caused you all this pain? Well, before you go knocking down a wall, you better make sure it's not load-bearing.
Yeah, I bet that's probably what Hitman 3 is going to be about. I'm going to knock down a load-bearing wall, cause a bunch of chaos, and have to fix it. That's my guess, anyway.
Enough talking. You'll do plenty of that later. We're here. Get on the boat.
Now, can I actually turn the music volume back up again? Because I kind of want to hear it during the cutscenes. Yeah, looks like I can. Yes! At least I assume there's going to be a cutscene. All right, did a bunch of basic stuff. Didn't get quite as many prizes as I did last time, but it worked. Yeah, my mastery's not growing as fast as it did in the last mission. I can skip this. Okay, so now I can stash equipment in the chapel. I can carry a mace if I want to. I can start in the chapel with some extra stuff, and... Yep, there's all these things I can do. Not yet. Because I'm only barely scratching the surface of what's possible here.
Mr. Edwards, still think this is maintenance?
Oh, Miss Burnwood, what have you done? Changing horses midstream? Truly unprofessional.
You know what we want.
Where is the carrot?
No carrot. You're useless to the partners. Compromised. Even if we let you live, you can never return. Why die protecting them?
When I can drag them down with me.
It's a bad hand, but it's all you've got.
Three families. That's all it took. The Ingrams, the Carlyles, the Stuyvesants. 3 dynasties secretly pooling their resources over generations, creating a singularity so dense that nothing escapes its gravity.
Never heard of them.
Well, they've heard of you. In fact, you just became the top of their agenda.
Go. We can't give them time to retaliate.
Don't take your eyes off him.
Be careful.
Well, here we are again. I must admit I am disappointed, Miss Burnwood. I had such big plans for you.
Save it. I know the truth now. You're outplayed. You have nothing left to bargain with.
You were so certain, so sure of the people closest to you. He never fails, does he? He never misses his mark.
He can save and reload.
You found a window into his past. And yet, something else remains hidden. A simple truth you learned long ago.
Diana!
Coming.
No one, Miss Burnwood, is untouchable.
What? I wasn't expecting that. I thought 47 was too young. 47 killed Diana Burnwood's parents? What? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. What? This is the end? I thought there were more missions after this. What? This is the credits? I didn't think this was the credits. I mean, that's the kind of reveal you do at the credits when you've got a sequel you're trying to hype. But wow, okay. So for some reason in my head, I thought that I had at least one more mission to go. Huh. Okay, yeah, Smug Rainbow Pony confirmed. That was the last mission. I didn't know it was the last mission. All right, well. Good. Well, hey, good thing we've got more Hitman 3 coming, more Hitman coming in the form of Hitman 3. Okay, so a couple comments came in while we were having that conversation with the Constant. Zarnathium was talking about, said, let me just read what he said. Oh, are you the kind of dev behind that? I always wondered who liked the music so loud that it makes it hard to hear the talking. Every game I get, first thing I do is turn it down halfway or more. Hate how so many have the music volume up so loud. So that is actually a massive pet peeve of mine, both in games and in movies. There's so many movies that are like mixed in such a way that, maybe if you're listening to it on headphones, or maybe if you've got like a really fancy surround sound system, everything's tuned right. But when you're we don't have a fancy surround sound system. I've just got our TV mounted on a wall, using the TV speakers, bouncing the sound off the wall. A lot of the time, I can't hear the dialogue in movies. I just have subtitles on all the time so that I can tell what people are saying. Because a lot of the time I can't hear it without blasting it so loud that during the action scenes it's waking up half the house. So I'm with you about that. I was turning up the music just because I was assuming that that this game was actually well mixed, and that it wouldn't be too much of a problem during the cutscenes. But and I didn't want to sort of leave it out in case there was emotional stuff that we would experience better if the music was turned up. Yeah, so I do like to at least initially trust the developers of a game and the makers of a movie to get it right before I start screwing with the knobs and the dials. So let's see here. What somebody else had another comment. Oh, so Fadope wants to know, am I going to be on the State of Decay 2 live stream tomorrow? And are we going to announce anything, or are we just playing? So we're not announcing anything tomorrow on the State of Decay 2 stream, which, for people watching this later on YouTube, it's the one that happened probably a week ago by the time I release this video. But yeah, so I'm not going to be announcing anything on the one on the, what's the date of that tomorrow? Is it the 18th? On the 18th, we're not revealing anything new. That's going to be a strategy stream talking about how to survive in the lethal zone with Joe Swarner, who's one of the, not just the best gamer, but the best player of our game at the company. Might be one among the best players in the world. He's really, really good. So we'll be talking to him about that. Sometime soon we will, of course, have more to reveal because we've got big plans going through the entire year. So you definitely want to keep watching these streams. But yeah, we're not revealing anything huge tomorrow. I am going to be there. I'll basically be his inadequate player who's there to ask him questions about his strategies because I don't understand everything. So that's going to be my role. Yeah, so let's see here. Oh, okay. So Epic Shaw raised something that I think this might be why I didn't realize I was at the end of Hitman 2. Apparently there are 2 bonus missions that were released at some point along the way. So maybe I still have more missions to play in Hitman. I'm probably done for today. If I play more Hitman 2 missions before Hitman 3 comes out, maybe it'll be tomorrow or the next day. Right now, I am about Hitman'd out. I just did 2 Hitman missions back to back. I'm probably good. Let's see here. Oh, the tank is wondering if I can play some Spider-Man. Sure. Yeah, maybe I'll play some Spider-Man after this for just a little bit. Maybe that's what I'll do next. By the way, I'm not ending the video because I have a thing about wanting the credits to roll for games like this. Like if I actually get to the credits for a game that I've done a bunch of gameplay in, I really want my stream to also feature the names of the people who put it together. Luckily, Hitman is luckily one of those games where I don't feel bad about streaming it because the point of it is not like I'm not going to reveal all of the joy you could get from the game just by playing it in front of you. Like the joy of playing a Hitman game is discovering all the details that I missed during this initial playthrough. So I feel like I'm, if anything, I'm probably helping, and I want to help further by letting these names scroll by before I quit. Oh yeah, Ranithcord pointed out that one of the viewers of my stream was actually probably has their name in these credits somewhere. They went by Count Geiger, I think, which I assume is not their real name. So that would be an odd name to have in real life. Not unheard of for somebody to actually have a title as their as their first name. Oh yeah, so a couple of people have pointed out that they really are not a big fan of the style of cutscene that Hitman uses because they can't tell who's talking, and I can totally see that. I think that. But I'm not going to really criticize it that much because it does look nice, even though it can be a little bit harder to follow and it doesn't look as good as, say, some of the really fancy high production values cutscenes that we've seen in Hitman games in the past. I'm on board with it, though, if it meant they were able to put more money into developing the gameplay. Typically that's different people building cutscenes versus making gameplay. So if you've already got those people on your team, you're not really taking something away from one in order to feed the other. But if you're sort of just planning a game from the outset and you haven't decided who the makeup of the team is yet, then if you decide, to save money on cutscenes in order to make the gameplay better, I'm usually not going to complain about that. Unless your version of cutscenes just ends up being completely weird and out of the ordinary. This one is there's some downsides to it, but it's not all the way across that line into being detrimental. And so if that's the trade-off they needed to make in order to pour the sheer amount of resources they put into making these levels incredible, then I'm on board. One disappointing thing, actually, about this video for me is the fact that I never actually got upstairs into whatever weird biosphere they had built on top of that. Like, whatever the glass box was on top of the castle, I still haven't seen that. So that is a reason to come back to this level and play it again sometime in the future. Oh, so Flaps Videos is asking, wait, who's that person you were referring to as being one of the best players of State of Decay 2? Joe Swarner, our customer advocate and the other host of the State of Decay 2 stream. He's really, really good. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who's better. Brian Menard, who might still be in the chat, certainly would give him a run for his money. And so I'm not trying to say he's the absolute best. I don't know if there's such a thing as the absolute best. People are going to be better at different aspects of the game and stuff like that. I don't think there's going to be a single best at anything. But he's definitely up there. He's one of the few people at the studio who is also a legitimate top tier player himself. Most of us who make the game, I am a Dread Zone level player. That's about where my setting is. I can go some distance into Nightmare. I don't think I can win Nightmare. And a Lethal Zone, it killed me in 3 sessions when I tried. So that's probably not my speed. A lot of folks in QA are very, very good at the game. And Joe's job does overlap with QA quite a bit, and I think he's got some of that in his background. And so that's probably part of why he's so skilled, because he's had so much experience doing that kind of work. But yeah, he's really good. Oh yeah, so Rahul Bhaskaran says that confirms that he believes that he's seen IO Interactive say at some point that yeah, the cutscenes are a budgetary consideration. So, I'm not going to fault anybody for that. I've certainly been on a lot of games that I would have loved to do different things with them if I'd had more money. But when we didn't have more money, we did what we could, and again, I feel like they put their resources in the right place. I mean, they gave me that animation for throwing a wrench behind my back, right? I mean, if I get that instead of a cutscene, that's totally fine. Let's see here. So, Fadope says Lethal all day. I assume it's saying that you play Lethal Zone? Well, congratulations. You're better at my game than I am. Squishy Soft says, I mean, it's a game about killing people. I suppose complaining about the story is silly. So I wouldn't say that complaining about the story is silly. I don't think that it's wrong to complain about the story of a game if the story isn't working for you, or if the storytelling method isn't working for you. For me, it works well enough. That doesn't mean that I don't think there's such a thing as an objective truth about the quality of a game. Oh, by the way, we've got GUI designers here. Gus Osterban, Niels Damsgaard, Thomas Hollander. So these folks, I couldn't read their name fast enough because I can't read Danish. In fact, I probably read the ones that I got to. I probably read them wrong. One of those people was probably Count Geiger. I'm betting. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody else in a different part of the credits. But I just wanted to call that out because the UI designers were going by. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying something else. Oh yeah, so it's. I don't think there's such a thing as an objective reality about the quality of a piece of art. And so what you have is instead a distribution of reactions among the audience members. And so for you as an author, you are trying to create a certain kind of experience for people, or a certain range of experiences for people. And whether or not you're successful, I don't think it can be judged by a single person saying, yes, it's good, or yes, it's bad. It's that I think it's how good a job you did of getting that kind of experience that you intended across to, enough of the intended audience. And so it's a very muddy way to judge it. There's always going to be people that you miss, and there's always going to be people that actually sometimes like your game more than you expected, or like the thing that you built in a way you didn't expect it, that you didn't expect. Sometimes people can surprise you. Sometimes you'll make one kind of game, and people end up enjoying it in a different way than you anticipated. But for me, the success of a work of art is it's distributed among a lot of people. So you can make something that is worthwhile and that you should be proud of and that you should feel successful with, and still have lots of people hate it. And that's okay. Those people are not wrong about your game. They're also not right about your game. They're just that that reaction, it just is your reaction. So somebody in our chat, could just really, these cutscenes they could find them completely off-putting, and it's really difficult for them to enjoy the game. It's a mark against the game in their minds. That's legit. That is totally true. That is your experience with the game. And, comparing the number of people who are like you to the number of people who are like me, who are like, yeah, that's totally fine. That's not what I'm here. I'm not, that doesn't disrupt my enjoyment of the game. When IOI is trying to gauge whether or not that was a good decision, they just need to look across the range of audience reactions and see, like, okay, some people felt this way about it, some people felt that way about it, and decide if they feel like that if that falls within sort of the parameters that they had in mind of their own judgment of their own success. So it's like, I get that way about things like, The Last of Us 2 was very divisive. The fact that it's divisive doesn't mean that it's good or bad. It's just, they had a lot of people like me who got right on board with most of what they were doing. I had quibbles with it too, but I loved most of what they were doing. And ultimately, I consider it to be, one of my favorite recent games. Similarly, The Last Jedi. There are a lot of people who think it is objectively a bad movie that ruined everything. There's some people who think it is the best Star Wars movie ever made. And I look at it as like, there are definitely a fair number of things in The Last Jedi that did not work for me. But also, some of my favorite things that ever happened in Star Wars also happened in The Last Jedi. And so I'm like, so it's a mixed bag, but that makes it interesting, and that makes it, in my mind, a success for me. It sort of changed me and it changed my perspective on Star Wars in some really cool ways that I enjoyed and liked. So when Rian Johnson is assessing his own successes and failures relative to that movie, he shouldn't look at my opinion as being the right opinion. He shouldn't look at the haters' opinions as being the right opinion. And he shouldn't look at the people who just love it as being the right opinion. He should look at how his movie affected the audience broadly, all the different reactions sort of in a big pile, and that's what happened. And it's never a 100% good or bad thing. It's always some degree of mixed bag, and you have to kind of get used to evaluating things in that complex way rather than just considering something to be a success or a failure. Let's see here. So let me see if so whenever I get into a big rant like that, I totally start losing track of the chat. So let me catch up with it a little bit here. Oh, hey! So Joe Swarner just showed up in the chat. I don't know if you were listening to me when I told everyone that you were amazing at State of Decay 2, but if I didn't, I wanted you to hear it. Joa, you're amazing at State of Decay 2, and people should come and watch your the strategy stream that you're going to be hosting tomorrow on the State of Decay channel. So definitely be there for that. Yeah, Tank, apparently I summoned him by talking about it behind his back. So, interesting. So, Itsy Boy Lewis says, they mess up one thing in The Last of Us and it can't be undone. So, I don't know if you're saying that you're frustrated that the audience acts like one mistake can't be undone, or if you personally as an audience member are saying that there was one particular thing that you feel like they messed up that messed it up for you. But either way, that's legit. It's weird because, like, I want to... I did a video, actually you can look it up if you want to. I did a video on The Last of Us 2, sort of talking through what I appreciated about it, what I liked about it. There are definitely some places in it where, like, I think, and they do this in both The Last of Us's, they push the protagonist so far over the edge that it's hard to follow them all the way to the end. Like there's a point where you feel like you have to be insane not to recognize that you've gone too far at a certain point. And they always push their protagonist a little beyond that point before they let up. And so I always get to a point where I feel like uncomfortable being this person anymore. And I want to have pulled back, or want to have had the option of pulling back just shy of what the character did. But I think they're doing that intentionally. So while I don't love it, I'm not going to begrudge them doing the endings that they want to do, because it boots me out of the moral universe of the story a little bit. But so even though I'm not, like, I'm mostly aligned with them all the way through, and then I get a little bit unaligned at the end, I don't consider that to be a failure. Like, I still, like, appreciate that I've been given this opportunity to have this amazing experience, even if it makes me uncomfortable towards the end. Actually, my my brother-in-law just made a movie that did this really similar thing where I was pretty much on board with the whole movie right up until the end, and then the protagonist takes everything just a step too far, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was with you this whole time, and now I just don't. I feel very uncomfortable. And I think, not coincidentally, his favorite game series is The Last of Us. And so I think that he's just very, very aligned with that perspective. And for me, all of it, it's like, I absolutely love it, and then I get a little weird. But maybe that's an experience I should have. Maybe that's an experience that I want. Maybe it helps me clarify where my moral boundaries are by enjoying a very well-made work of art that is just a little bit off. It's like if when you look at something that is just completely way off your sensibilities, when you're like, oh well, that thing is evil, it's terrible, I hate it, and you just reject it, and it doesn't make you think at all. But in playing or watching something that is almost where your moral presets are, that almost aligns with you, and then is a little bit off, it makes you look at where your boundaries are. It makes you understand them better. So I think that kind of thing, even if I end up disagreeing with it a little bit here and there, its existence, like I don't think I want to have only a world full of art that behaves exactly the way I would want it to as an author. Like, I think it's really useful to have a bunch of art out there that disagrees with me, or that is on a different wavelength from me, so that I can find out where I fall. I find out what my wavelength is. I can only know that by looking at it in contrast with other things that are different from it. Oh, so Joe Swarner is pointing out the torture scene in the first The Last of Us. So I've forgotten that scene. It's been a long time since I played the original The Last of Us. So I forgot the torture scene. I'm not sure if that was the spot. For me, it was the ending. I don't remember. It could be that was also a point that would have bothered me, but the ending was so memorable that I forgot that one. I'm not sure. Or maybe I was on board with their torture scene. Maybe that's where I am. I'm really not sure. Flaps Video says, so Brian Menard is here? He was. I don't know. He hasn't said anything recently, but he did at least pop into the chat earlier. Huh. Got you. So Itsy Boy Lewis says, as an audience member, I didn't like what they did to Joel. The situation that Joel got into. He said that it felt like it didn't seem like something Joel would have gotten into. And so I'm still upset about it. And it's fair for you to feel upset about that. I feel like that reaction that folks have to the Joel scenario in The Last of Us 2 is actually really similar. I think it feels similar to me anyway, as someone who, I was okay with that. I was completely on board with what happened there. Because I felt like the story we'd been telling about Joel had reached a conclusion. And to the degree that it needed an epilogue, the epilogue did actually happen over the course of The Last of Us 2. And so I didn't feel like he needed to continue going in the same direction. I felt like I was through with that aspect of the story, and I was okay to move on to a different story that worked in a different way. That felt right to me as an audience member. But it's interesting. It feels like that reaction is very similar to the reaction that I hear from people who didn't like Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. And I feel like there might be a lot of overlap there, and it's interesting. I'd love to think about that a little bit more. I don't know, because I'm talking about audience members who are not me. I can't explain in detail why that disagreement exists, why I feel okay with it and a lot of other people don't. Because I need to really understand both sides really, really well to be able to say much about it. But it is interesting though that there does seem to be just sort of a different way that some other audience members sort of imagine the heroes of past games or movies in such a way that when these specific new things happen with them in the sequels, that they're like, no, that character would never, no, and it rubs them really wrong. Whereas for me, I'm like, yes, and it actually, I'm having the inverse reaction, like, holy crap, I can't believe they went there with this character, which is, it's very different for the two. It's yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting because we're talking about gut level reactions to things, gut level emotional reactions to things that, a lot of our sort of intellectualizing we do afterwards as we're discussing it is just the human brain is really good at trying to explain things after it's already made a decision about how they feel. And so I feel like a lot of the stuff is happening at a gut level that I can't fully explain about myself, and you probably can't fully explain about yourself. yeah, I don't know. It's just it's fascinating. I don't really have anything special to say about that. It's just fascinating. Oh, Brian Menard is here. Hello. So Ranithcord says, you heard it here first. Jeffrey is okay with torture. So yeah, so Joe, I genuinely don't remember enough of the plot of The Last of Us to be able to remember what scene you're talking about. Not surprised. I mean, I certainly was not on board with the torture scene in Grand Theft Auto 5. And so I wouldn't be surprised if I also had a bad reaction to the one of The Last of Us, but then it got overridden by later things that also bothered me. I'm really bad at remembering the details of a plot. That's not usually my forte. So... Squishy Soft says, would I become a monster? Oh, actually, let me read back a little further. Something we often like to conveniently forget is that our boundaries are contextual to our situations. I haven't played The Last of Us or The Last of Us 2, but I remember playing Spec Ops: The Line and feeling like I was reading Heart of Darkness. Would I become a monster in a monstrous context? Maybe. I think anyone would. Yeah, that's an interesting insight, too, where I think there's a lot of... What am I trying to say? There's one perspective on people that says... People are who they are, and when you put people in different contexts, all you're doing is just revealing. They should be really consistent. You should be revealing constantly. Each new context should do a better job of just shining a new light or to getting a new angle on who the character already was. And you should see that character be consistent throughout all of those experiences. And that can be very satisfying. But another perspective is that people frequently change based on the context that they're in, and there are subtle differences in context that can lead people to do different things, either as they progress and change as a person over time, or as they get sometimes I'll just have conversations with people at work, and I'll have a really strong opinion about some feature we should have or some way we should handle an issue or a plan in State of Decay 2, and I will be really passionate about my opinion, and then somebody else will say, well, what if we did it this slightly different way? And then suddenly my opinion changes. And I'm like, I thought that I really super believed in it in this way, but actually I was reacting to just this one little detail. And when they changed that detail, my whole perspective changed. And so sometimes people can, vary widely in their behavior based on kind of surprising details of the context. And so you can't always know, what exactly someone's going to do. And so there's another, perspective on how you should do characters in fiction that says that, as you put people in different contexts, you should see them change. You should see their behavior be different. And that's actually the way to see different facets of a character, is to watch them behave differently in different contexts, not to watch them behave the same way in different contexts. And I don't think one of those is right. I think that we'll often see ourselves kind of doing both. One thing that it's been interesting, because in each Captain America movie, one of the things that's great about Steve Rogers is the fact that you put him in a bunch of different contexts, he doesn't change. He is still the same good person with the same motivations as always. But over the broader arc of many movies, there are aspects of his behavior that have changed. He's been willing to turn on fairly legitimate authority in order to make what he feels is right happen. Whereas early on, he was very much like he believed in the authority, in the power structure. And that's a way in which he changed significantly over the course of the movies. But that was more about his level of trust for outward things. Who he was inside didn't really change. So it's like there's stuff he did in the later movies that he would not have done in the very first movie without a lot of struggle. And so he did change over time, but also there's an aspect of him that did remain the same the whole time. So I think, really satisfying character arcs like that, I think oftentimes will sort of pay some degree of homage to both of those ideas. They'll tip their hat to both of those ideas, that there's aspects in which, aspects of characters that should remain solid if you want them to be sort of a believable character, or even if they're not, whether you think that's believable or not, for them to always be consistent. There's something satisfying about watching a character whose morality you respect, holding on to it and not, they're just sort of wavering. But at the same time, it's also satisfying to see them start to sort of hone the details of their own identity and figure out, in these different contexts, these are the contexts in which I say the same. These are the ones in which I have to change. And they become an interesting person as they go from just having one simple, character trait that you can just say in a sentence to having an array of different contexts in which they behave in different ways, which feels more like a person, feels more like me. let's see here. So, wow, these credits are long. I was not expecting to have this big, huge, giant, long rant at the end. It's amazing the sheer number of people that it takes to make a game. Though, I think the number of people who actually made the game, who day to day went into an office, or in some cases, well, actually, yeah, this was finished before the pandemic, so they were going into an office. People who went into an office and actually sat down and were building Hitman, that was probably only maybe a few dozen people on this list, and everybody else is all the people who work at all the companies who contributed in various ways to this game eventually landing in your laps. So we're probably seeing some people from the localization teams. We're seeing people from the publisher. Everyone from the publisher often gets a credit on the. Often the publisher's credits are much longer than the developer's credits. And a lot of the folks that are in those credits didn't actually even touch that specific game, but it's just part of what the publisher does is they give everyone credits on all of these games as I know part of one of the perks of working for the publisher, I guess. So Itsy Boy Lewis says, I love hearing your point of view on stuff I enjoy. I see it a different way. You see it a different way than how I did. And Draco's White Wolf says, I'll second that, but we love your rants. Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this conversation. It's so easy, I think, when people disagree about a piece of art for it to become a really bitter, angry conversation. People being hurt and offended that somebody else, took in a piece of media in a different way than they did because it feels like a moral judgment. It's like if I say, well, this was bad, and you thought it was good, you're like, it like hurts you deep inside, right? And similarly, if I say this thing was good and you're like, I had a terrible time, what's wrong with you? It's really easy to have a bad reaction that way too. Being able to sort of get people in a room who disagree about something but who can recognize that that's like a normal part of life, that's actually kind of special. So I appreciate you here in my chat too, the fact that I was able to reveal my controversial opinions on The Last of Us and The Last Jedi and The Last whatever, so that without it turning into some kind of conflagration. So yeah, the take it is so the take is bringing up Spider-Man's behavior in the Civil War series in the comics, in the Marvel comics, and it is interesting that because they did their take on Civil War with Spider-Man as a brand new character rather than as a well-developed character, they didn't really get to show that aspect, his part of that story. They kind of did sort of a simplified version with other characters and introduced him because, I mean, I think probably just because he was a well-known, very critical part of the original Civil War storyline, not having him there would have been weird, but because he wasn't an established hero at that point, he wasn't able to play the role that he played in the original story. But anyway, okay, so we did actually get to the end of the credits. So there are more missions after this. So let's go out to the menu and have a look at what our options are here. Because I think we can look ahead and see what is going to be available. So apparently there's one called the Golden Handshake that takes place after the credits. What else could there be? Let's go to campaigns. The Hitman 2 campaign. Okay, so I did the finish line. I did the finish line on my own. Three-Headed Serpent we did on the stream. Chasing a Ghost we did on the stream. Another Life we did today. The Ark Society we did today. And there's something called the Golden Handshake and The Last Resort. Ooh, and I have to do something special to get access? How do I get access? Oh, I've got to buy them at the PlayStation Store. Okay, well, we're going to have to decide if that's something I want to do. Maybe I've streamed so much Hitman this week, maybe I want to take a little bit of a break before I start streaming Hitman 3 and give everyone a little bit of a break. So maybe that's going to be my plan. Maybe I'm not going to pick these up, or maybe I'll pick these up much later, maybe as DLC for Hitman 3. I assume that's going to be possible. I don't know. Anyway, for now, let's wrap up the stream, because people sitting through those whole credits and all my long rants, I mean, if you actually got here this far, congratulations. Thank you so much. Congratulations, or maybe I pity you. I don't know. I don't know how I should feel about somebody listening to me this long. But let's put some other videos up. If I do more Hitman stuff, I'm sure it'll be there. You can subscribe and whatever else, or just, go watch other people's videos. Go watch Brian Menard's videos. Most of you probably came from him anyway, so I don't know.